Hi, everyone. I'm Josh Thiefel, Dean of the College of Ministry here at Northwest, and this is a bonus episode of both Christianity Now and Live Long and Pastor.
I gotta say though, when
Yeah.
you say bonus episode, I get nervous because sometimes when I used to check out DVDs, the Blockbuster, the bonus scenes were the scenes that didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
So is it one of those, or is this
Well,
a special episode?
So I guess
Can we go special?
it's a special episode on a very special episode of.
I love that.
See, for Live Long and Pastor, I interview lead pastors, and for right now, you still are. So
Exactly, and we got to hurry.
And for we got it. We only have 4 weeks. And for the other one, it's just people I want to talk to. So there you go. So it fits.
I wouldn't assume I'm there yet. So let's stick with the.
Well, you kind of are my new boss, so I need to talk to you at some point.
Okay,
so
let's do it.
Although you haven't officially started yet.
No,
So,
no.
So, yeah, and I still officially have a job, so that's also good.
I don't want you to treat me different once it gets all formal.
All right, fair enough. Okay, so if you didn't know, and if you're listening to this podcast, I bet you know, Dr. Jeremy Johnson, less than 24 hours ago, was selected by our board of trustees as the new president-elect of Northwest University. So
I saw that on social media, and so I thought it must be official.
I enjoyed your Northwest University themed color palette.
Did you
in
notice
the blue
that?
suit and the
Did you
yellow
notice
tie.
that?
Yeah, it was pretty classy. So,
Okay,
good.
good.
You are also currently the lead, very currently, but only temporarily, the lead pastor.
Put an asterisk by that,
Yeah.
based on when you're listening to this.
The pastor of North Point Church, and is that in Springfield? Is that, or is
we have 4 campuses, Springfield area.
Yeah.
All of them,
Yeah.
And Andy Stanley is our, probably my favorite campus pastor.
Okay.
The North Point campus in Atlanta. Maybe you've heard of that one. He doesn't know it, and
he's been a little controversial, though. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're not connected to North Point. Now, I didn't name the church North Point.
Mm-hmm.
If I were, a couple things I might have thought differently. One, I probably wouldn't have named a multi-site location a geographical name. Because we're not the North Point of every town we're in. Yeah. Nor would I probably have picked one of the biggest megachurch names already, but here we are.
Well, I'm sure you're never going to call Northwest University North Point. You're never going to make that mistake. So
so I apologize in advance for the great constituency of North Pointers up in Boston, but I don't want to confuse our listeners. Northwest.
Well, you are going to be, if you already don't know, everyone will think we're Northwestern University outside of Chicago. So
can I just say this? I've found a quick irritation already.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's NU.
NU.
And some people are saying NWU.
Oh, no.
And I'm thinking, no. There is not a space in this. We are NU.
Yeah, it's like when people say AOG instead of AG. I'm like, what are you doing?
No, give us the slash.
We need the slash. Yeah. So you are, I watched your little video to your church yesterday, by the way.
Oh.
I like your jokes. I like where you said that your board unanimously gave the church to your kids. Just kidding.
I don't know.
No one's ever done that. Not
in mega churches.
No. So your last Sunday with North Point is the 17th of August, right?
Yeah. So 16th, 17th, Saturday, Sunday. Yep.
Wow. And then Monday you're here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. West Coast, best coast. Let's do it.
Yeah. Awesome. It's been a week, hasn't it?
It has been a week. I said to my wife this morning, I said, man, this may be one of the busier times, that I can remember. And, it's been a week, but it's fun. It's life-giving. It's energizing.
Absolutely.
At this point. Yeah. Catch me in 6 months.
Let me just check one thing. I want to make sure this is actually recording.
Oh,
I got real nervous all of a sudden.
This would be like a great dress rehearsal.
No, we're good.
Oh,
yeah, we're 4 minutes.
We're awesome.
Yeah, good. Okay, so let's see. Newly elected president just yesterday.
Yeah.
I want to talk.
Did you vote for me?
I gave my thumbs up. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I did. Yeah, They didn't ask for a vote, so I would have.
Yeah. So, and I would have been super professional had you said no, but from a distance.
No, well, this is interesting for everyone listening. President-elect Johnson, Jeremy and I
don't know what that name is going to be. We'll have to figure that out.
We've texted a little bit, and I think I've spoken to you like 30 seconds before this, but this right here, right now, is the first conversation we have ever had.
Yeah,
so,
and I wanted to record it in case we become really good friends one day. This would be like a shadow box.
Yeah, or I was thinking if things go horribly sour, this could be the one gleaming moment where
we saw some things.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was good. So I'm excited about that. Rarely have I had a situation like this, where someone I'm going to probably be interacting with a lot, I'm meeting for the first time live in front of whoever's listening. So
it's kind of like a Netflix dating special, right? So
yeah, exactly. So I was going to joke and say, "How are you?" But I bet pretty good. So
I'm doing well. I
yeah,
mean, honestly, it's weird because
Yeah.
I do have so much gratitude
yeah,
and a sense of loss for
Yeah.
what we've done, that we have so much excitement for what's ahead of us.
Yeah.
But there is that sense of that emotional funeral
Mhm.
of a thing that means a lot to us.
Absolutely.
We're grieving. And so it is crazy how quick my emotions are going both ways. Depends on
Yeah.
who's sending that text or who I'm talking to. And so I'm like a walking neuron right now, like all the feels.
Yeah, it's yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, just I was thinking yesterday after the news came out, the white smoke from the chimney came out that there was a new pope, and
Yeah.
I was thinking, wow, what an experience that must be to have that, one of those lifetime experiences in life where, like probably like getting married or graduating college, where you just have this like, wow, I'm in this new zone now, and what that must be like. So
Yeah, it is surreal, and it's quick. So,
Yeah.
but the truth is, it's been a long.
Mhm.
The process was fairly long, and it
Yeah.
might not feel long from the outside, but when you're in it, it feels vulnerable and it feels
Yeah.
long. And so someone had said early on who had been through a similar process. They said it's going to feel like it takes forever, but once it happens, if it
Mhm.
happens, it will be a mad dash.
Yeah.
And I would
And
say that was correct.
the last couple days, I mean, it felt like that. You were in 1,000 meetings on Monday, and then yeah. So let's get down to get to know you a little
All
bit. Obviously, I've been in some of the meetings where you've shared a little bit of your
Yeah.
story, but what should we know about you? Tell me a little bit about your story.
Yeah, a kid from North Idaho, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Uh-huh.
I grew up I'm one of those guys who grew up going to a church, pretty conservative church, Assembly of God Church,
Uh-huh.
all my life, basically, and loved it. I've had great experiences, even through weird times of church. So it was just one of those times where
Yeah.
none of that, all that for me, I learned early on and consistently through that some of the mentors that were placed in my life, while not perfect, were just so gracious
Yeah.
and loving. And actually, my background with a pretty fundamental growing up family and pretty conservative church,
Mhm.
the way they loved Jesus was very attractional to me. So
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys who never felt anything other than grateful for my background. Ended up going to Northwest as a student, had a great time, was very involved from
Yeah.
travel drama teams
Oh, wow.
to student leadership, intramural. And they still talk about it's almost awkward when I walk the halls here at
Uh-huh.
Northwest. They talk about the intramural football team and they're wondering, were you the backup wide receiver? And yeah, that is me.
Oh, that was you.
That
Oh,
was
yeah,
me.
yeah. There's
And
a
I
whole like Hall of Fame with you in
I
it.
didn't want the statue. I didn't. And so I didn't want that to be awkward. So we don't have that.
Wow.
But so grew up there. And then from there, youth pastor 8 years,
Yeah.
traveled to different schools for 5 years doing a school assembly deal,
Yeah.
speaking to churches. And I've been pastoring for 13 years in Missouri.
Okay.
So that's me.
Yeah, one of the things I'd heard about you, as you know, it came out that you were one of the names that was in the process, is people that knew you from your youth ministry days.
Okay.
I talked and shared a little bit. So yeah. So all right. What is your favorite movie? Let's just get that out of the way.
Shawshank Redemption's tough to
okay.
beat. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a classic. It's so what I like smart bad guy movies.
Okay.
I like suspense. I
Mhm.
like to be able to get done with a movie and then have to instantly think, I didn't see that coming. I want to watch it again, which I got to be honest, has got me in trouble. Because there could be a movie that I'm like, that's a dumb movie. This is not a great movie. The end is so good that I start talking about it. And then I watch it again, I'm like, oh, I can't believe I endorsed that movie. Right.
Yeah.
But I like to have my mind go on a field trip and not know where I'm going. I don't have an itinerary in advance.
Well, welcome to being college president. That's exactly what your life's going to be for the next year or two.
It's going to end in a way I thought, oh my word, I didn't see that coming. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah,
that's right.
What's in the box? No. Okay, another question. Sorry, these are the softballs here, folks.
I thought that was the curveball.
Okay, well, here's another one.
Give me another one then.
Is there a fictional character, film, TV, novel that is you?
Tim Robinson. No, stop it. Stop it.
Okay,
Don't
okay,
say
okay,
that.
okay.
Yeah, let's
True
just go there. Let's
story.
just go there.
All right.
I know.
You're a Tim Robinson fan,
No,
literally.
no. Not a fan.
Okay, all right.
He's my doppelganger.
Well, okay. I want to show you something, folks. I did not plan this, and I'm so glad you said that because yesterday during the meeting,
Uh,
two friends, I took pictures of you, or Monday during the meeting, I took pictures of you, and I said, our new Northwest president finalist looks like he enjoys zip lines, which is a reference to a Tim Robinson comedy bit. So
almost every weekend at church, someone comes up and says, have you ever been told? I say, Tim Robinson, and we're just shopping with some friends, and someone comes up to me and they're like, Tim Robinson, can I get my picture with you? And I just went with it. So we got our picture with them. They walked away. So yeah, absolutely. Let's just go with it.
I'm glad. I wanted to get that out of the way because at some point I wanted to say to you, Tim Robinson. And that's good. Okay. So one of the things that's really interesting for us here at Northwest is you were the first Northwest alum to ever be a president.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So no other president has ever gone here and been a student. And so that's kind of cool. So you should know that. I mean, and that
I'm going to lead with that from now on.
Well, that brings a lot of things. Okay. You were a lot of people who are in your sort of like generational space. You're a little older than me. We're around the same age, but a lot of our leading pastors, people in the community, you're known from when you're a student here.
Yeah.
I know you and your wife met here and fell in love here, but which obviously probably is your number one Northwest memory. But what are one or two other top memories you have from your time here as a student?
So when I was here, it was mid 90s, late 90s, and we had a floor, the 100 floor in the gray dorms. We were the birds, and we had so many people who randomly were youth pastor majors at the time. And it wasn't because they had this system of placing us there. It's where the openings were for a bunch of freshmen.
Yeah.
And we became such good friends, our floor, which is probably a lot of people's story.
Yeah.
And the community was rich. And one of my favorite, surprising, because I didn't think through it, treats of the last couple of days are the text messages from those friends. We had so much fun. We got in trouble together. We had so much fun together.
Yeah.
We loved Jesus together. So that was great. Also, we had a president, President Davis, who he did a class, my favorite class. And we had some legendary professors. I had Pacoda, I had Dr. Elms. We had some great professors. But my favorite class was President Davis took us on this journey. It was a pastoral leadership class. He just made it up. Back in the day where no one was making up classes, I don't think.
Yeah.
And so we just we met with him a few times, and it was really cool to do that. And then he took us to the Crystal Cathedral in Southern California. I'd never been to the Orange County.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. He took us there, and that was like a week-long conference. And to be able to just experience a variety of different ministry leaders sharing their dream, gave this kid from Idaho just permission to dream big. I remember looking around thinking, this is unreal. And President Davis was just smiling, and he knew he was exposing us to something that would take us a long time to catch up to. So that was a great memory.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, well, here's a question you've been asked, no doubt, a few times. I think I was in at least one of the rooms where you were asked this question the other day. You are pastoring a church that, from what I understand, is doing well. Good ministry there. You've had a good tenure there. A lot of people might say to you, "You got a good thing going. Why are you leaving that? Why are you coming out here?" So, one of the questions I think that people would be interested in is why Northwest University and why now?
Yeah, I do love the church. Here's the deal. You're either going to get kicked out, carried out, or called out, right?
Yeah.
And as a pastor. And so I love the idea that God is calling us out.
Yeah.
And that's what called us in. It's the same thing. I don't ever have this sense of entitlement that I get to choose how long I'm at a place. And I'm so thankful we were there 13 years. It is a great church. It is a growing church. And the ministry is going so strong. But I really believe just as clear as this is going to be a win for our next season, God's going to make it obvious soon that I think 3 years from now, we look back even at North Point, the church, and say, man, that was the right move that God did for North Point. So it's going well. And at some level, it's also exciting. They got a strong team, all that. I feel at peace with this transition.
Mm-hmm.
Why Northwest, though? That's a big question for us. For the last 10 years, we felt that higher education leadership is something in our future.
Mm-hmm.
And I position myself that way relationally, with mentorship, with academic, study, and just trying to understand an institution that I hadn't ever been in formally. And so this has been something that we felt to be able to bring leadership to an environment where Christian students would show up and say, God, would you help me form gifts, form passions, form strategies to make an impact on the world? That would be the biggest honor of our life for the last whatever many years of our ministry. And so I didn't know when that would be. I would have figured that would have been longer or later in life. However, Northwest is different. Northwest is unique. Northwest is personal to me.
Yeah.
Northwest has always meant something to me because this is the place that I encountered how God can use gifts that he has placed inside of me.
Yeah.
How I encountered community, how iron can sharpen iron in these things. How I encountered the local church strategy while I'm also learning educationally. And so Northwest has always been a place that I recognize God used significantly to me. I would love to do that for others. If I go back even further, when I was going to be graduating in high school, I had blown out my knee. I was to play tennis at an NAIA school. And all of a sudden now I'm like, well, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And we applied to Northwest because of connection. We had connection from our church and different mentors. And during that process, President Davis offered 2 scholarships, full ride scholarships, presidential scholarships. And we applied for these.
Yeah.
And so one of the scholarships that he awarded to me.
Wow.
And we were blown away as a family because this was going to be a big sacrifice. We were going to figure out a way to make it work. And when we received news that I received a full ride presidential scholarship, we were so excited. Well, in that announcement was a letter from President Davis. And it said, I believe that you're going to be we want to make an investment into your life. And my expectation in awarding the scholarship is you would be an investment back to this university.
Wow.
My dad talked to me right then, and he says, you know what that means? He goes, this is not just a handout. This is an expectation that they're going to invest something in you.
Yeah.
And they think something will grow out of you that will make this a return on their investment. And at that point, we talked about what that meant. He says, you're going to get involved. So I got involved in drama teams. I got involved in student leadership.
Yeah.
I showed up at the 6:00 Wednesday prayer that President Davis would have on Wednesdays, not out of the sense of obligation, but the sense of, I want this to be a net win for the university, for the college at the time. And I did everything I could in my mind out of gratitude and commitment to fulfill his request. And then as I think about yesterday, as we record this, yesterday morning was the opportunity to hear the invitation officially from the board. Before I went into that room, I had an opportunity of just a reflection and just say, God, there was a time when the 17-year-old kid received this invitation to come to this university with a communicated expectation of, we believe you're going to give back to this university. And what an honor for me now, how many years later, to say, I hope by the end of this presidency that someone would say that scholarship they gave to this kid from North Idaho, they got something out of it. So
they got a return on their investment.
So why Northwest University? It's not just where I feel God's calling us to go in the type of direction. It's not just a gift mix fit. It's personal.
Yeah. Wow. That story I didn't hear him share the other day. So that's really cool. Have you heard from President Davis since yesterday? Or?
Yes. Well, he has Dan Schimmelfinnig was one of his generals on the team, and Dan was in a room, and I'm sharing this story. And he had already been talking to President Davis, who's in the Paulsbo area, and so he just texted President Davis, said, Jeremy just shared this story, and President Davis quickly texted back and just said, tell him I'm proud of him. And so one of my first opportunities, I'm going to get over to Paulsbo and sit down with him.
That's great.
And just say thank you.
That's great. Well, so one of the things that I'm interested in is obviously you come to this role having had a lot of years in ministry, and most recently 13 years as a lead pastor of a
Yeah.
church. What's interesting is people come to college presidencies a lot of different ways. Like I think Dwight Eisenhower was a president of a college at one point, and
Wow.
his resume was invading Europe. And then you have, and then you have people from business area maybe being
Yeah.
presidents. You have people who come up an academic route as professors and deans
Yeah.
and vice presidents. In our movement in the AG, we're seeing a lot of people who've been in lead pastors in the pastoral world stepping into the role of college presidencies.
Yeah.
So when you think back to your experiences, your skills, how you've developed over the last 13 plus years as a lead pastor and in ministry, what particular skills, gift, experiences do you think as a pastor you bring to this role as president?
Yeah. I think that's a great question. And really, I think when you say the word pastor, it's not emotionally neutral or
Mhm.
intellectually neutral. People have a different perspective and a life experience of what it means to be a pastor.
Yeah.
And the truth is, I think some automatically would think, oh, okay, you're someone who spends most of your time thinking about the application of scripture in a vocational way. Yes, and that is a big part of it. Is that what the university needs? Not necessarily that.
Mhm.
That's important.
Yeah.
But I think the role that I've been playing the last 13 years, it's a pretty complex organization. So it's, over 3,500 people
Yeah.
on a weekend. It's four campuses
campuses.
and a dream center and essential services. So you have 6 different branches.
Yeah.
So it translates in some way to schools. Now there's a whole different learning curve of what are the ropes and what's the institution life like.
Yeah.
But as far as what are the major constituencies, right? There's a lot of building projects. There's a lot of fundraising. There's a lot of the things that helped us in the last 13 years that if you look at those in today's climate at Northwest University, those are things that will play really well to serve the mission well.
Yeah.
So I think that provides a fairly natural fit.
Yeah.
And I think that's always going to be changing. What will a university need in 10 years? I understand this is I will have to grow with the changing climate too, because what the university needs for the next 5 years might not be what it needs for the following 5 years.
Yeah.
And I'm all right with that. I don't need to be the president of Northwest University for the longest tenured whatever.
Yeah.
It is not a desire of mine. My desire is to be the most effective president of Northwest University every day that I am. And I hope I'm one of the first to recognize when it's not the time.
So that actually kind of anticipates my follow-up question. Obviously, this role is different than the one you've been in recently. So what would you say you're looking forward to learning, or what things do you know that you need to you want to get up to speed on in terms of this role in the university?
Yeah, I would say the number one area of my awareness of lack is the institutional life of faculty.
Yeah.
Right. So which is interesting because a lot of people have talked to me from their experience in preparation of this potential to say, man, that's going to be tough. How do you balance administration of faculty, or you're not an academic on paper, right? Which is kind of funny. It's like the football player from Harvard who goes to the NFL. He'll say this. He goes, man, he would say, I'm the dumb jock when I was at Harvard. And then when I get to the NFL, I'm the brilliant person. And what's funny is in my peers as a pastor, they might look at me as you're the nerdy academic in this role that you play. And all of a sudden, instantly, I'm this spiritual, elusive. So I understand that I don't get that, but my heroes have been those professors. My experience as a student were the faculty. So I want to quickly understand the language, the rhythms, and the ways I can support the faculty in a way that I bring value to them. I want to bring value quickly to them so that they can do everything God's called them to do, because I believe as the faculty goes, so goes the university. This is the experience of a student. And so I think that's going to be a learning curve, because I think right now, I don't know how much I can provide value to them in some of those lanes, other than, fundraising, creating a culture that's accessible, approachable, and, trying to continue those kind of things. But I want to bring tactical, practical value to them as faculty. So that's the biggest area.
Yeah. One of the things, I mean, again, literally, folks, I mean, I didn't know you except from what people told me on paper until Monday.
Yeah.
And the only thing I was really looking for, because I'd heard very good things about you, good experience, people know you. But I said to myself, well, he doesn't come from this kind of environment.
Yeah.
Is he aware that there are things that he has to learn? And is he willing to be humble and be willing to learn that? And I saw that. And so just you asked me earlier, like, did I have your vote? And the answer is yes. And that is why, because I think that someone coming in saying, oh, I have all the answers, I know how this works, when clearly they don't, I think could be real. Well, and we've seen people like this in life,
Yeah.
And I think that for me was literally the only thing that I was looking for in when we all met you the other day. So that was exciting to see, just sort of a willingness, not only everything else you bring to the table, but willingness to know that you have to learn and are wanting to learn in that, because I think in life, that's very important, but it can be easy, especially when I think someone comes from the outside, from not working in the academic world. It can easily be intimidated. It can easily be trying to like pretend you're something you're not or whatnot. And I think,
Well, I think also a couple positions that are really important to this quickly became a source of encouragement and excitement for me is when you got a strong faculty chair, right? When you have a strong provost.
Yeah.
And those two things in place, with an invitational approach of, hey, we got you.
Yeah.
We've got you. That's just a gift from God.
Yeah, absolutely. So I haven't read it yet, but the other day when we were sitting in the meeting, I'm like, I want to look at his dissertation, And so I Googled your name, and it's available on the Southeastern website, I think.
Yeah.
I found it. Haven't read it yet. But one of her faculty told me they read it over the weekend. So
did they?
Yes.
Wow.
But your dissertation has to do with the Enneagram and church leadership. So tell me a little bit about that, and then tell us about what you are on the Enneagram.
Ooh, okay. So the Enneagram, and it's funny, as I've spoken on the Enneagram hundreds of times in church settings and corporate settings and in different things. And the biggest area of resistance sometimes comes from a Christian perspective.
Okay.
So I realize even that's not emotionally neutral.
Yeah.
But let me explain part of that is one, the Enneagram sounds like the word pentagram and it looks like one too. So we'll just give it that. And some people will say, well, this is Eastern mysticism. It comes from dark magic, these kind of things. And I would say that there are people who think way outside of God honoring boxes who use this as a tool.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
At the same time, the earliest recording that we have, the people who are not Jesus followers, who are historians of the Enneagram, the earliest examples we see are the Desert Fathers, who use this as a catechism.
Wow.
This is a tool.
Okay.
They would take the different lists, here's the 7 things the Lord hates. 9, there are 8, or, these kind of lists. And they kind of put them together and they say they're teaching their kids, these are the 9 categories that will sabotage your walk with God, that this will short circuit God's best if you don't look at these. And so this is the catechism. So really what they are is it's not like it's become in America, it's became popular in the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And it's like this just this idea of like, oh, let's guess each other's Enneagram when people walk through the mall. And, but really what it is, it's darker than that. It's here's the things that here's the area of my life that would most likely upend my marriage if left unchecked.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to brag about that.
Ooh.
So every one is a dark thing. So it's whether it's lust, anger, deceit, all the dark, deadly sins, right? So what it does is says, okay, all of us have a little of all that in us, period. But it's a window to the soul to say, like the psalmist says, search my heart, oh God, and see if there be any wicked thing in me. Spoiler alert, there is.
Yeah.
And here's one. Now, if I'm not careful, any of these areas can upend me, but I'm prone to wander specifically in one. And it also speaks to my motivation.
Yeah.
And where does it bring anxiety to my life? So that's the overall deal of the Enneagram. For me, I got to a spot where I was incredibly battling with anxiety. I didn't even know it. I didn't have a compartment for it.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what I was doing. I thought I was battling with a heart attack.
Okay.
Finally, an ER doctor said, I got bad news. This is my 3rd trip to the ER. He says, I got bad news. It's not your heart, it's your head.
Yeah.
Now, it will be your heart if you don't figure it out. You need a therapist.
Yeah.
I didn't have a compartment for that.
Yeah.
This is 2015. And my therapist.
I saw a stat yesterday. Again, it's on the internet, so who knows if it's true or not. But something like, though pastoring is incredibly stressful and there's a lot of pressures, something like 90% of ministers don't have a therapist or go to counseling.
Yeah,
It's something, you know.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the thought is, yes, can God do a miracle? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Pray it out. Okay. I don't believe that. I don't believe in the idea of just pray it away. I
Mhm.
just feel like, okay, God has given us tools
Yeah.
and researchers that understand. We understand that about the body. We understand that
Yeah.
about the mind. So, so I'm a big fan in, the Northwest University's commitment to mental health, even
Yeah.
for students that are
Yeah,
here, right?
absolutely.
So with that, I quickly developed tools, muscles in areas to get. My therapist gave me tools where quickly anxiety did not disrupt my day,
Mhm.
and it was fairly crippling for a season.
Wow.
And then quickly, I was able to manage the anxiety. Eventually, got to a point where anxiety, I can't remember the last time anxiety disrupted my day, but it's rare that a day goes by that anxiety doesn't visit me.
Mhm.
And I have the tools, whether
Yeah.
it's breathing, whether it's reflecting, whatever it might be. So Enneagram helps me realize what areas I begin to go in default mode. It gives me alarms now to understand about myself and to
Yeah.
invite God into that area.
Yeah.
So it's less self-help, it's less self-work. I think it's a really cool tool. So that's the
Wow.
Enneagram in a nutshell. Now,
Yeah.
what I wrote on,
Yeah.
blah, blah, because you have to niche it down, right? So
You know, you also sound a little like Tim Robinson same time. I was going to say, yeah.
a little bit. So, so what I wrote about, I had to niche it down so much. I was interested in the topic, and then I niched down to what's the correlation between the Enneagram profile of the lead pastor and the size of the church that they lead. And so while I am not wildly interested in that, I think the answer is not the better leaders are this profile. It has nothing to do with leadership ability. It has everything to do with America's hiring practices. There are certain Enneagram numbers that tend to hire better in process or be attracted naturally to different things. So I think it's a great opportunity for us to hire differently, to not be snowed by certain personalities that we tend as Americans to be like, yes, here you go. So I think, but the learning for me is it's not a hiring tool, even as much as it's a management tool. So that's where my teaching has come out of the dissertation. Dissertation was to get the niche, but then now it's how do I utilize the Enneagram to even offer more dignity and relational health with people I work with.
So apparently there was a little discussion in one of the offices that shall go nameless, not mine, but about what Enneagram you are. So are you willing to disclose that today?
I am.
Here on this podcast.
I am right here in this podcast. It's going to be a super big shocker. I am Enneagram 3 Wing 4. So, which for non-Enneagrammers or those who turned it off already because of the word, what it means is my motivation is I need to feel like I'm winning.
Okay.
Well, actually, it's deeper than that. I need you to think that I'm winning. I need to feel like you think I'm winning. For example, I used to play a ton of tennis. And when I got to a spot, an injury came back. I wasn't able to win as much. Guess what I realized? I don't like tennis. I just liked winning. So I had to find something else. And I don't miss tennis. So for me, but the deceit, it's darker than that. The deceit is deception. And it doesn't mean don't ever trust Jeremy with money and don't trust what he says. It means that I will sow when I'm stressed and when I'm flesh driven, I will so present in such a way, I'll let you think something about me and I value that more than the real me.
Okay.
And Enneagram 3s don't tend to let people close and be vulnerable because they guard their image. And so what I need to learn is vulnerability. Even this process is crazy for me. I've learned about this because normally in jobs in America, it may be someone chases you and they take you to dinner and, This process was opposite. You have to chase that. And it's very vulnerable.
All these phases, different groups.
And there's part of me like thinking, that temptation when I go down there, when I would start stressing about it, it'd be like, well, you know what? If they want to have a conversation, they just have a conversation. Why do I have to chase? Why do I have to keep going through this and fill this out? And that's the immature part of me. That's the undeveloped part of me that says, listen, trust God. Be vulnerable. And I can learn more from failure than I can ever learn from success. I don't have to win. And so it's a dependence on God. So that's my Enneagram. The 4, the artistry. I'm creative. I love that. I'm story driven. I cry at movies. I just, all that. I love a good story.
All right. So I'm whatever Enneagram type that resists being typed is the one that I might be. So
okay. So
I took it a few years ago. I actually looked at mine yesterday 3 was higher, but there was one higher than that. So
Can I guess?
yeah, you can guess.
And not just based on who doesn't like to be told what to do, or where to go. A couple of things. One, fives tend to know better than what they think the general population could say they are. And 6 don't like to be controlled. And so sometimes a 6 could be like, yeah. So sometimes that could be a telltale sign. Do you have a number that you've tested your type?
I forget what it was. I'll tell you later.
Okay.
I have the 5, but actually, does it change over time too, or does it stay pretty static throughout your life?
So I think it's the way you're wired. I think really the best way, one, we can develop all these things, but as far as strengths and adaptation, but I think what it does is what is my motive? What is my internal motive? And what are the anxiety producing or stress producing things? And so usually when I'm stressed and not healthy, that number will continue to come out more than the others. Okay. At the same time, how you are in your season of life, what version of you you're thinking about when you take the type. Yeah. I think the most accurate way to do it is have someone who knows you, who's not pot committed to a certain result. They don't care. They'll be like, this is how you are. This is how you are. Yeah. I think I can show as a different type. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Just a few more questions here. One, and I realize this is pretty early to ask this kind of question, but I bet you've been dreaming things about Northwest, some hopes, some plans that you have, some of which probably you're still keeping to yourself and thinking through, but some things that you're really hoping for and dreaming for Northwest. What are some of those hopes, dreams, and plans that you'd be willing to share?
Well, molten chocolate lava cake on Thursday nights. I mean, that's one. And I didn't
Taco Tuesday.
Anything, but I knew this was the time to talk about it.
Yeah.
I think the dreams, from one, there are so many people who have been, are, and have plans in place that there's these dreams, whether it's facilities, whether it's enrollment, whether it's a different vibe, they're great. Yeah. So it's not like there's a lack of that. I think what I want to do is come in and then quickly get on that page. Mm-hmm. What are those dreams? Yeah. And then add my perspective. Yeah. Okay. Consider this. Here's something I was thinking about that. So what I love is I don't feel like I have to be an innovator of dreams. I could be a contributor to dreams. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But what I really need to do is help execute those things. Okay, so help connect the bridge to say, okay, what do we need to make this happen? And let's prioritize it. Let's fund it. All those things. So some of those dreams do involve, how do we make this campus scream Northwest? Yeah. How do we get this? My biggest dream is this: when we get someone on campus, a tour, because we have enrollment people working so hard.
Oh yeah.
And when they get someone on tour and they know, I want them to be high-fiving everybody in the office saying they're coming on campus, because we know when they show up on campus, boom. Yeah. That student has such a high percentage chance to look around and say, I'm home. Yeah. And I feel like facilities play a big part of that. Yeah. I feel like a vibrant tipping point of amount of students already on campus. I mean, that's social proof right there. Yeah. Is everything plays. I feel like branding. When you look at these buildings, we have to ask ourselves, for every building on this campus, what does that building communicate to us?
What story are we telling?
Yeah. And so my thought is, some of those things cost a lot of money, but God has already placed people in our community. Mm-hmm. Like for real, I honestly believe there could be some people listening right now that you have the kind of capacity to help us move forward that would change the game for several hundred students. And we want to hear from you, because it's not going to be a surprise to us when God brings them into this. At the same time, there are some things that aren't about money. They're just about intentionality and pride. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things I want to do is say, hey, what can we green light to create that spot? Now, with that, will there be additional buildings? Will there be, what will this footprint look like one day? What do these extension programs look like? What are the next classes and programs that are developed? All those things I'm excited about, but I don't think any of those things are achievable until we start with, where are we at and how do we get so proud of who we are and what we're showcasing, that now it's just a natural next step to say, hey, you want to go on this journey for the future?
I forget who's told me this, but sometimes we describe Northwest as the best kept secret. And I think the pushback to that is, we don't want to be a secret anymore. We just want to be, the best, and so that's exciting.
And sometimes when we're not the best, we don't want to admit we're not the best. And so we just say, well, we are the best. We're just a secret. So what we need to do is say, are we the best? What areas are we the best? What areas are we not the best? How can we be better?
Yeah.
And I don't think statistically we'll ever be the best in every area, but can we? Now, the word secret, we want to be able to say, man, everybody, it's not our responsibility for you to decide Northwest, but it is our responsibility for you to have an interaction with Northwest. Yeah. And that's what we want to do. Yeah.
So obviously there are a lot of different constituencies, a lot of different groups that you will interact with as president. I put them in 3 buckets here, and I wanted to ask you if, so some people listening, this may be the first they're hearing from you, and I'm curious what you would want to say to each of these 3 groups. One would be faculty and staff, so our employees here. The other would be students, because like I ran into Dr. Clint Bryan and I were having coffee at Starbucks this morning, ran into a soccer student. We said, hey, did you hear we have a new president? She said, no, I didn't hear. What's his name? So I just briefly mentioned your name and who you were. But for students, this may be the first they are hearing from you at all. So students would be the second group. What would you want to say to students? And then finally, third, kind of our outside community.
Yeah.
Both the local community, the town here, but also our church communities. Yeah. Like for each of those 3 groups, faculty, staff, students, and outside community, what would you like to say?
Yeah, faculty and staff, just a big thank you, right? A big gratitude. I mean, I have an instant bias when I walk in here that what you're doing matters to you. That's why you're here. That you've in some areas, just because of the reality of the enrollment numbers and whatnot since COVID, it changed the game, right? Yeah. And so while there is a lot of hope going forward, it was a runway to get there. Yeah. And so with that means in most areas it's less resources with even more expectations. Yeah. And so for those who are doing that, wow, gratitude. My hope is that you would see in the coming months some quick wins, in the coming years, just a reality of the direction you're doing and what you're digging. There is going to be an ROI there. It's happening. Thank you for loving this place. And it will be a spot where it's not only going to be a place where it's easy to love, but it's going to be a place where you have even more fruit because of what you've done during these last few years. So that's what I would say to faculty and staff. To students, I would just say we want to be a Jesus-centric university, and you have friends and you have family who, what I want you to know is we're not chasing students just so that we can raise enrollment. That's not our game. We're not in the education business. We are in the Christian education business. And so there are right students, and so many students have chosen Northwest to be a place where they can experience Jesus in the kind of way wherever their hand finds to do, they do for the glory of God. We want to do everything possible to create that zone where that is true for you, and that you would feel confident that you can bring any of your friends and recommendations this way. Your highest resource you can give us is your time and your relationships. And here's what we'll do. We'll do everything possible to make it an even better experience for you, from some of the practical things, from facilities to extracurriculars, all these other things. There are so many great things going on, but there's some more things we can do. Yeah. And we're committed to doing that. The third thing is those outside the community. I hope those in Kirkland, there was a time when, Northwest University was one of the leading workplaces of Kirkland when Kirkland was just growing when we first moved out here to a university or to the college. And I would hope that this area fills the salt of this place, that we would find the different lanes where we can be in alignment and further the values of this community. Not everything that's on the mayor's list or the community's list is going to be our business, but there's some things that we can really contribute, that someone would say, I'm really glad Northwest University is here. We do bring an energy, and if we can bring an energy and serving hands, and we can have empowered engagement with human needs right here in this community, then I believe that we can make an impact. To those outside, like the churches, I would say, listen, you have a university. You do have a university, and we will do everything possible to add value to you. That's what we want to do. We'll figure out ways, and there are already things in the pipeline. This isn't me bringing it to the table, but it's me continuing this priority. Let's bring values to the churches. Let's bring values to pastors. And then I would add into that category the alumni. Yeah. I love seeing and hearing on social media all these alumni during a transition. It's a natural opportunity for us to all of a sudden have it on our radar.
Yeah.
I want to say to all the alumni, this is your home. Come and walk these halls. Come and show up here. I want you to know that once an eagle, always an eagle. You have this is your place for real.
Yeah.
I want you to come. And here's the deal. I want you to take pride in this place. I want this to be a win for you. I want you to walk to the place that meant something to you back when you were a student.
Yeah.
I also realize some of you are at the age now or stage where you have kids and grandkids, and you have an influence in them. I want you to have a fresh picture of who we are and where we're going. Also, there are some alumni who are out there changing the world and doing it for God's kingdom. Yeah. And they don't know that they have more of an opportunity than ever before to do that with a mission of a school that meant so much to them. Yeah. And we want to connect with them.
That's great. That's awesome. Kind of as we're wrapping up here today, one question, many people listening, myself included, care about the school, care about you. How can we be praying for you, especially these next months as you step into this role?
Yeah, I don't want to miss today because I'm focused about tomorrow. I'm focused on tomorrow, and I am focused on tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, I will have to naturally or intentionally focus on today. I do believe these next 4 weeks are God's gift to me to be able to express and love and be with the people that have meant so much to a mission that has meant so much to our family. And at the same time, I am thinking, I am dreaming, I will have pockets where I can compartmentalize and say, okay, let me dream before I get there.
Yeah.
And so my prayer would be that we would finish strong, that we would be able to receive and give in these last few weeks to a place we love. And that when we start, the prayer would be like, God, would you help me not get in the way of any progress that's already happening at Northwest? And would you help me to be able to bring any nervousness and just bring peace to that? I just believe peace that goes beyond our ability to understand, that I would come in and I'll be here before school starts, but to be able to come in and not be the highlight, not be the distraction, that I would hear to be a calming voice to every parent who's dropping off their kid, an exciting encouragement to every student who's showing up here and saying, all right, this is my new home. For the faculty to say, all right, let's do this. This is going to be our most important year ever. And so those are the prayers.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
Well, you heard it here, people. There's some things to pray for.
Yeah. And I hate to make this about an agenda I have, but I want to throw one thing. I really believe there might be someone out there who's gifted in making molten chocolate lava cakes. And if they're here, again, I don't want an ask to be my first thing.
Yeah.
However, if that's you, come talk to us Thursday nights.
I don't know someone that can do that, but my wife makes the best chocolate chip cookies. Literally, this is the secret to my career success. Every year at Christmas, she makes up like dozens of them.
Really?
And we give them out. So
really,
it's possible in order to get gate favor with the president, you may get some cookies early into your tenure. So.
Well, I like that. So I'm going to try and be mature if I don't see a cookie in the first few months. But
it might mean we have issues.
That's all right. That's all right. And we should resolve that on this if we ever get there. Let's do that.
It's time for a performance evaluation. Like, all right, Josh, let's do the podcast.
I believe in total transparency.
That's good. That's good. As we close, anything else you'd like to share? Just in closing, anything? Any final words?
One. Longtime listener, first time talker on this show. I have listened to a couple episodes. So,
okay.
Those of you who listen, thank you for doing so.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
I mean, I do believe this. We are a university and we have some healthy schools.
Yeah.
You're leading the gem of this university. Is the School of Ministry, the College of Ministry is so important, so important. I believe it's not more important than, but this will and should always be a healthy, vibrant training ground of great theology that throws out practitioners that change the world. So thank you for doing it.
Well, thank you. And you yourself are a graduate of the ministry program.
Yes,
at Northwest, so
absolutely.
Excellent. Awesome. Well, Jeremy, thanks so much for being on here today and getting to know you a little bit.
All right.
So far, I like you. So
All right, I'll take it. We'll run with it.
All right. Thanks, man.